What is going on, guys? It's Cosmix, and in today's video I have some Battlefield 4 gameplay playing some team deathmatch on the map Galmud Railway using the UMP, and I do pretty well in this game. Actually, I go 22-7 and I've been enjoying Battlefield 4 lately. However, the topic of today's video is going to be remastered games versus streaming services, and what I mean by this is lately there have been a lot of games that have been announced and come out that have been remastered for next-gen consoles such as the Xbox One and PlayStation 4. Some examples might be the Tomb Raider Definitive Edition, as well as a recent announcement for The Last of Us Remastered. And in terms of streaming services, I mean like the PlayStation Now service that is actually in beta for some people, which is kind of like a rental service. So we're going to go into a little bit of depth into both of them, explain some positives and some negatives, and I'll give my sort of opinions, and I would like to hear your opinions too in the comment section below. So let's get started then. So in terms of like remastered games and the streaming services, one major positive for both of them is the fact that you get to play games that you may have missed. For instance, people who have only ever owned a console in terms of the newest ones, such as the Xbox One and PlayStation 4, they will have never experienced any of the games on the Xbox 360 or PlayStation 3, which is quite a major thing considering there is a ginormous library of fantastic games there. So that is one positive point. Whether they bring it out remastered, you can play it if you missed it, and the streaming services, if it's a rental, you can rent it out. Another positive in terms of the streaming services as well, which has just sprung to mind, actually, there is most likely going to be a wider variety of games available for you to stream, like stream/rent, since it is a lot easier to bring a digital version to a next-gen console than it is a hard copy version. Another positive in terms of the streaming services is going to be the fact that the majority of them are going to be a cheap rental. For instance, there's been a few leaked images of the PlayStation Now service. A lot of like my points talking about the streaming services are going to be related to PlayStation Now, since that is the only one that's been announced. Microsoft haven't like mentioned anything like an emulator or anything like that, but they most likely will to play catch up with Sony in that department. So anyway, going back to cheap rentals, due to the fact that it's going to be a subscription based service, so you'll have to pay a subscription most likely yearly or monthly, a lot like PlayStation Now and Xbox Live. So once you've paid that subscription, you get access to PlayStation Now. Then once you are on PlayStation Now, you then can pay most likely for the rental for, I think it's been shown as 1 day, 7 days or 30 days, so a day, a week or a month. That means that it's going to be a lot cheaper than buying a brand new remastered game. For instance, if looking at The Last of Us Remastered Edition, that has been said to be $60 in the US when it comes out. That is the price of a brand new game. Now, to be honest, considering it's a game that's already out, I believe that it should nowhere near the price that it originally was. It just shouldn't, because although it has got new graphics and it does come with the included DLC, that's still not enough for it to be a full price game personally. So with cheap rentals, you can actually rent a game for like a good amount, because to be honest, within a month, if you're a hardcore gamer, you'll most likely complete the majority of games in a month, unless it's like a giant RPG. So using The Last of Us again as an example, you could easily complete that within a month, and it'll probably cost a fraction of the price as buying it remastered hard copy. However, a good point for a remastered game is, as I mentioned then, is the fact that you can get Game of the Year editions. And on saying that, you can actually get that for streaming services as well. That's just crossed my mind. It's just that I tend to relate Game of the Year editions with a hard copy, just because it just always seems right for me on a disc. I'm not too sure why when it comes to Game of the Year editions anyway. Now, in terms of negatives of both of these remastered games and streaming services, as I said before, full price for a game that's already out is just stupid in my opinion, but nevertheless I'll most likely end up buying The Last of Us Remastered hard copy because I'm a dope sometimes, but oh well. Also, I find that with remastered games, especially in terms of hard copy, which can be digital I suppose as well, is that it kind of seems like a money making scheme to me, and it kind of holds new ideas back. for instance, about a month or so ago, they announced that Gears of War is coming to the Xbox One, a brand new interpretation of the game. Well, at least that's what we're expecting. Anyway, it's been took over by Black Tusk Studios, and Rod Ferguson is basically kind of at the head or supervising it, and he was alongside Cliff Bleszinski when it comes to the original trilogy of Gears of War. And obviously them games have been beloved with many Xbox fans, including myself, and I'm eagerly anticipating the new one that's coming to the Xbox One. However, I have a feeling, which it's not necessarily a bad feeling, but I have a feeling that they're going to bring some sort of remastered version out, and it's not going to be a brand new story or anything like that, because since the way Gears of War 3 ended, spoilers for anyone who hasn't played it, all the locusts are gone, so on and so forth. That kind of just ends the story, so where can they go from there? Yes, they could do the Pendulum Wars, but personally that wouldn't be interesting, since there aren't no locusts, and that is basically a crucial part of the Gears of War franchise. No locust, they can just focus on COG, kind of like Gears of War Judgment Gears of War Judgment done with the multiplayer COG vs COG, which was absolutely stupid. I'm ranting on again, that game just annoys me, I don't even know why I played it. But anyway, yeah, I just have a feeling they're going to kind of mash Gears of War 1, 2 and 3 into like a big remastered collector's edition sort of thing, where it will have each individual campaign with 1080p graphics for the Xbox One, but then the multiplayer will be like the main part of it, and it will be like a mashup between Gears, say the best aspects from Gears 3, 2 and 1, in terms of which Nasher shotgun was the best, which weapons worked well, which maps were the best, that sort of thing, which characters they'd like to include. I have a weird feeling that Black Tusk Studios are going to do that. However, obviously nothing is set in stone, so we can only basically wait and see what happens with that. However, as for the negative in terms of the streaming services such as PlayStation Now, as I said, it is subscription based, so you are kind of basically tied in if you want that service. As well as that, on top of that subscription fee, you do have to pay a rental price. You don't know whether that'll be for every game, but the odds of it being like that, I don't know, it's kind of 50-50 at the minute, but who knows. So depends on how much the rental prices are, it will obviously determine whether or not it is worth subscribing to that subscription or that service, sorry. As well as that, there is a internet connection required when it comes to the streaming services such as PlayStation Now. Yet again, I apologise for repeating myself, but I understand that the vast majority of people who own a PlayStation 4 will have an internet connection, and to be honest, the next gen consoles, you'll basically be losing a lot of features if you don't have the internet, especially in terms of the Xbox One. But yeah, many people may not have access to the internet, or the internet could go down, etc. And you're not going to be able to replay games from previous consoles. So that is one downside to the streaming services. As well as that, the graphics won't be as good on the streaming services. Well, it depends on the quality of the internet connection, doesn't it? Because if it's streaming, the graphics won't be as good as a remastered hard copy edition, but it will still be noticeably better than a PlayStation 3 version. So anyway guys, I'm going to leave this video here. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope it made sense, because I kind of felt as though I was jumping from one point to another reasonably fast, and going back to the Gears of War idea, I actually do hope that happens. I actually really would. I think that would be quite cool, a mashup of all three, well, the trilogy, having the multiplayer as a bit of a mashup. I think that would be cool. So anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Please leave some comments in the comment section below, letting me know what you think about this topic. And as always guys, I shall see you all in the next video.